National Assembly passes new national minimum wage bill. House of Representatives recommends reversal of recent increase in electricity tariff for Band A customers. And Deputy Speaker cautions against planned nationwide protest. Thank you for joining us on You and Your Reps. I am Victor, as welcome. The national minimum wage bill of 70,000 naira received expeditious passage at both the House of Representatives and Senate, as it was read the first, second, and third time at plenary. Now, this follows its transmission from President Bola Tinubu. Both chambers also approved the 6.2 trillion naira amendment to the 2024 budget, 3 trillion of which is to enable immediate implementation of the new minimum wage.
The national minimum wage bill, no doubt, was eagerly being awaited by Nigeria's bicameral legislature since it came to fruition after a series of negotiations between the federal government and the organized labor, thus reviewing the current national minimum wage upwards from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira. The bill, transmitted Tuesday to both chambers, was granted speedy approval at the Senate.
This is part of the federal government's short-term measures to mitigate the situation in the country, as efforts are being made to bring about long-term solutions that would align with the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians.
In order to take into cognizance the galloping inflationary trend in the country. So this is very, very novel and highly commendable.
The national minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000, and to reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 years to 3 years, and for later matters 2024. Third reading taken and passed.
The bill enjoyed similar consideration at the House of Representatives.
This bill is to prescribe a national minimum wage and provide a legal framework for seamless review of the national minimum wage and for other purposes connected therewith.
Meanwhile, both chambers passed the 6.2 trillion naira amendments to the 2024 Appropriation Act to capture the minimum wage into the budget documents. The Finance Act Amendment Bill, which made provisions for the collection of windfall levies from banks to be deployed to fund the amended budget, was also passed.
Rather than sharing profits, the profit as 50-50, it should be 70 to government and 30% to the bank.
The three bills will be forwarded to the State House for President Tinubu's assent. In another development, lawmakers in the red and green chambers have given their blessing to the Police Act Amendment Bill, which will enable an appointed Inspector General of Police to remain in office for 4 years.
It is essentially to say the tenure lasts as it is in the letter of appointment. I think my colleagues should support this. It will support security, continuity, assurability, dependability, and productivity of the IG.
Meanwhile, Chair of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive, says the national minimum wage bill was passed as presented because it was a product of negotiations.
The minimum wage bill was an executive bill that came from the executive arm. The beautiful thing about this particular one that came in year 2024 is that Labour and the executive were in harmony as per the content of that bill. That is the figure of the minimum wage and then how long it will take before it is revisited. This harmony, this agreement made it unnecessary to refer the bill upon it being read the second time to the Committee on Labour and Employment, as the case will be, who will work on it and refer and perhaps do a public hearing and invite stakeholders and then present their report to plenary, which will now refer it to the Committee of the Whole to look at it again, clause by clause. Now, in this case, there was no need to call anybody whether you differ or you don't differ. Everybody was there in harmony. And then it was a law that the country was in a hurry to shun out quickly. So our job had been done already. So we fulfilled our righteousness as far as I'm concerned.
The House of Representatives Joint Committee on Power, Commerce, National Planning and Economic Development has recommended a reversal of the recent increase in electricity tariff for Band A customers. This was revealed during presentation of the report at plenary.
The chairman, House Committee on Power, Victor Nwokolo, notes that after a series of engagements with key players in the power sector, lawmakers resolved that an independent team of experts should be contracted by the legislature to carry out forensic investigation into what should be the actual cost of electricity tariff in the country.
That all electricity distribution companies should reverse to the old tariff pending the resolution of the matter by the House. The conclusion of the joint committees is that the implementation of tariff increase should be over a period of time. It should be in phases.
This motion is referred to the Committee of the Whole.
As traders continue to count their losses following the devastating fire that ravaged the popular Karu market in Abuja, the Green Chamber is requesting NEMA to provide succor.
Urge the National Emergency Management Agency of Nigeria, NEMA, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management to immediately send relief materials to the affected traders. Further urge the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, to provide grants and start-up capital to the affected traders to enable them start afresh.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives also introduced a secondary school student, Peace Oluwaseyi Oladosu, winner of the one-day House of Representatives member competition, initiated by the member representing Ibarapa Central and North Federal Constituency of Oyo State, Adebayo Adepoju.
Honorable colleagues, I have the honor to introduce to you Honorable Peace Oluwaseyi Oladosu, the winner of the one-day House of Representatives member representing Ibarapa Central and Ibarapa North Federal Constituency of Oyo State competition. On June 17, 2024, a very well-contested event by over 1,000 students, Honorable Peace emerged victorious in an intellectual competition sponsored by Honorable Dr. Anthony Adebayo Adepoju, a distinguished member of the House of Representatives. This exceptional and very talented secondary school student from Favourland College, Ibura, hails from Idere Town in Ibarapa Central Local Government Area of Oyo State.
The member says it is part of efforts aimed at developing capacity of his constituents.
We thought about a way we can carry along our students who we believe are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but also the leaders of today. So besides having free coaching classes, investment in school buildings and whatnot, we said, well, you know, we've bought JAM form for them, WAEC forms and all that. How do we make this very exciting, you know, in a way where, you know, while they're studying, there's also some sort of excitement as well. So we enrolled over 1,000 students, actually. I think close to about 2,000 or thereabout secondary school students. So they went through a rigorous, painstaking process of evaluation. They were evaluated on writing skills and spelling bees. I mean, there was so much. It was a process. You know, it was something that started in February, and it did not end till June, which was just a month ago. It just means on that day we're making her the member of the House of Rep for that one day. So she came in here from my community. She came in here. She sat on the chair, she presided on that day. She was recognized in the House, and this is something very remarkable in my opinion. Something that I know she would always remember for life, and not just her peers would remember, and for those coming behind her, I'm sure they would look at her and say, I want to be her, and that's what's important to me. People being excited about improving themselves, and for that day she presided. I handed over to her in an honorary way, and she presided. She made decisions. She collaborated with some honorable members that she met, and they said they want to collaborate with her. So they talked about co-sponsoring bills, and she got to know a lot about the legislative process, which is good. So my team and I, we've sat down, and we would sit again and look at ways we can improve what we did. What went wrong? How do we improve this? How do we get more people to be motivated? How do we open this up? What should we tweak about, what we are offering in terms of compensation for their time? Because their time is very precious. These are students that, they are very their time is so important to them. They want to do well. So there are other things we're going to look at in a holistic manner, and we'll try to improve on what we've done today for a better competition next year. You'll be surprised to know that some honorable members have actually reached out to me to say, especially within the Oyo State Caucus, to say, why don't we do this? Let's get 14 members from each constituency. We have 14 constituencies in Oyo State. And let's have a one-day House of Rep member from Oyo State. How about that? I said, oh, you know what? Exciting. We can do that. So everybody has been reaching out to me, in ways we can collaborate together. And this would not just only improve the level of education in my community, but also in Oyo State. So we are looking at a bigger version of what we have started.
Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has advised Nigerians, and especially Southeasterners, not to join the planned anti-government protests, stressing that dialogue is the best approach to engaging the federal government. Now, at a media briefing in Abuja, Kalu says the signing of the Southeast Development Commission bill into law is testament to the Tinubu administration's resolve to heal wounds of the past.
Lending his voice to the deluge of counsel against a nationwide protest, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu believes that the nation is in a phase requiring unity and progress, not division and unrest.
Not heed the calls for protest, but instead continue to trust in the process. Say no to protest. Say yes to the process, which involves policy formulations from government that is people-centered, which the Parliament have insisted on, that all policies of government must have the people at its center. Believe in this process, not the protest, and we'll be able to get the profit that this government has promised.
He described the signing of the Southeast Development Commission bill into law by President Tinubu as a legislative victory that will benefit the Southeast region immensely.
It's no more time to carry arms. It is now time to take up skills that will be stimulated by the Southeast Development Commission. Most especially, I thank President Tinubu for his unwavering support and leadership.
Kalu calls for patience with the reforms of the current administration geared towards reversing inflation and stabilizing the economy.
Still on the protest, the member representing Iza South, Ikwo Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State, Chinedu Ogah, is calling on government officials to shun anti-people programs and policies as a way of addressing the anger of Nigerians. He was reacting to the planned anti-government protest.
I'm urging Nigerians, protests cannot help us. But those that are working with the government to stop sabotaging the government. A situation by this hardship, and you go ahead in closing people's factory, people, Nigeria losing job, when our president is doing every effort to make sure he makes everybody happy. These are the people that borrowed billions of naira to open a factory. and those factories are closed down, almost about 200 factories employ almost about 15,000 Nigerians to 20, almost about 50,000 Nigerians are closed down for almost about 4 months now. They have a NAFDAC number. The only excuse is that you say the small children take those drinks.
The National Assembly is on annual recess, but how does this differ from other breaks, and what significance does it hold for legislative business? We asked Chair of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive, to tell us.
Annual recess in Legislative Palace is that period within the that distinguishes one legislative session from the other. It's, for instance, in Nigeria, we operate a 4-year tenure. So every assembly is defined in that 4-year sense. So you can say the 9th assembly in 4 years, if the 10th assembly in 4 years. Now, in each assembly, we have 4 years, and 1 year is a session. In between both, there's usually a recess, which is usually an annual thing, a yearly thing. And it normally takes place about the end of July. And resumption is in September. This is statutory worldwide. It's not just a Nigerian practice. It's a legislative practice around the world. Just like you also have in the judiciary, that the courts go on recess, vacation during that same period. This must be distinguished from the usual holidays like Christian holidays, Muslim holidays, Nigerian government public holidays where the House don't sit. These are different holidays. They are not the recess, as it were. The recess is only one annual recess. The practice is usually in July. So after inauguration, you sit for about a month, get some things settled before that recess.
This week on You and Your Reps, the committee segment takes a look at the Federal Character Committee, where Deputy Chair Adebayo Adepoju says the committee is working tirelessly to entrench equity in distribution of employment and other resources.
We are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that we oversight the Federal Character Commission, and also to ensure the just, equitable, and fair distribution of not only employment, as is widely seen, but also the economic resources of this country. So the committee is headed by Right Honorable Idris Ahmed Wase, the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives in the 9th Assembly. So he's a very experienced person. What we've been able to do so far is to look at the books of most agencies of government, and I can tell you it hasn't been a very, very happy process. So when I say happy process, I mean what we've seen has not really been very exciting. We've seen a lot of lopsidedness, in how we recruit people. And, the Federal Character Committee is something that's so very important, because in Nigeria today, we have a lot of agitations. And the agitations we have in Nigeria today is based on people believing that one side of the country is unfairly treated. So if we can help ensure that our resources are fairly distributed among the geopolitical zones of this nation or among the states, then I think the agitations will reduce because we believe in the sanctity of one Nigeria. We believe that this country, we are strengthened by our numbers. We believe we should always be together. We believe we're 200 million people strong, and we believe these numbers, that's the power of the nation. So we have the responsibility to make sure that our resources are equitably distributed. But what we have seen so far has not really been too encouraging. There's a lot of decay, and as we walk through this process, we're trying to ensure, especially through employments of recruiting, we want to make sure the lopsidedness is balanced. So in a situation where, let's say for example, we have 36 states and the FCT 37, and when you have an organization that has 1,000 employees and you find 500 from, I'll say maybe from Oyo State and 2 from Imo State and 10 from Lagos State, there's something wrong with that number. So what we're trying to do is to say, when next you're recruiting, we need to be involved. We need to make sure that that state that has 500, we need to hold up on that. We need to make sure that we balance things up with the other states. That way everybody feels a part of this project called Nigeria. It's not an easy thing to say, I can tell you. You have different types of distraction in this nation that makes it still, but we're ready to fight through it. This nation called Nigeria has to work, and we are resolute in our decision to make sure that we would not be entertaining favoritism in any way whatsoever. It has to work because we believe that's one of the ways we can contribute our own quota to the unity of this country. When we started, we followed up from where they stopped because that report was submitted to our committee. So we invited the Federal Character Commission, we invited all the commissioners. We had a robust discussion as to where we were, what the findings were, and how to move forward. So there were certain things that we had to get ourselves involved in, and I think that has been resolved as of now. Right now, we believe they're all at least trying to work together for the progress of Nigeria. And there are communications back and forth from the committee to the commission itself, and we're grateful to the commissioners. They're hardworking people. They're people that believe in Nigeria, and also the chairman as well. She is an amazing woman. She's doing very well, and we believe that mistakes have been made in the past, and it's not just about punishing the mistakes, but we've learned several things from that, and they know that fighting does not improve where we are. Unity is what we can do for progress. So we're all working together, as a body, the committee and the commission, and I think at the end of the day, Nigerians will be better off for it. The greatest problem we have, as of today, is favoritism. Our resources, of course, are scarce, and they're scarce for a reason. Resources are meant to be scarce. So if resources weren't scarce, everybody would get whatever it is they want, and nobody wants to work. So because of these scarce resources, we have everybody trying to get everything for their community. At the end of the day, you find some people trying to get even more than the other side. That's a major challenge. That's a major problem. And everybody believes that when you are trying to bring something, you have to bring it to your own place without thinking of the fairness it is to other places. So for example, if I had an organization right now and I am from Oyo State, if you look at the data, most of the time, the person in charge of HR or the CEO or the head of the agency, so to say, whatever state he's from, will most of the time be the state with the largest number of people from that state in such a disproportional rate to the other states. So we have to come together as Nigerians and educate ourselves. We have to come together as Nigerians to believe first in the project Nigeria. You do not have to have 100 things to your state where the other state has nothing or has 1 or 2 or 3. It's you know, we practice federalism in this country. We need to preach that.
Well, such a good place to rest it on this edition of the program. We thank you so very much for watching. I am Victor, as we join us again.